I'd next like you to welcome Westlyn Mather. Westlyn is the MLA for Edmonton Mill Woods. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a real privilege to be here and to share your angst and concern. I've always thought of Canada as peacekeepers, not even peacemakers. We are peacekeepers. My thoughts today are Vancouver singer-writer Anne Mortifee lived through the First Lebanon Civil War in 1979 and wrote Beirut Song with this refrain: "Oh, my soul, sit quiet on this winter's night. There is no truth in wrong and right." A generation and another war later, Mortifee's words, "There is no truth in wrong and right," still ring true. All the words and arguments, all the reasons and points we've heard in the past 2 weeks lead down the same path of trying to prove some people wrong and others right. This is why the simple and simplistic call for a ceasefire is not an option. It is the only option. Only as we renounce both the force of arms and the force of arguments can we see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow human beings. Only as we focus on our shared humanity is there any possibility for resolving an otherwise impossible situation. To some, this is hopelessly naive. Those who think we must wait for a new order to emerge from the violence have set their sights on goals other than the human, such as land and boundaries. When these are the primary values, human suffering becomes collateral damage. Those set on landmarks and lines in the sand see others who are unwilling to take a stand on these as weak and spineless. Meanwhile, the killing goes on. Another Canadian songwriter who died 23 years ago wrote these words about another ongoing and bloody conflict. "All rights and all wrongs have long since passed away, for causes are ashes where children lie slain." Stan Rogers takes us a step further. Whatever reasons and issues may be behind a dispute are immediately sidelined when children's lives are at stake. There is one value that stands over all values. As legislative critic for Children's Services, I believe children's well-being involves more than one ministry. Health, education, justice, environment, economy all impact on children's lives. It is hard to find an area of public policy that does not affect children. Someday our decision-making structures will recognize that. If children's well-being is the overriding value of a civilized society, then wars that harm children are the supreme evil. Any other goals or purposes of those wars cannot offset that cost. That is why an immediate ceasefire is not an option, it is a necessity. I speak as a member of an assembly that is larger than the ideologies and outlooks of the people that make it up. I speak as a citizen of a country whose name means meeting place, a country that does not see division, but diversity as we look at the world's peoples and those who live among us. I call for a ceasefire, not as a distant dream, but as a present attitude. Let us cease and desist from words and policies that feed conflict. Let us resolve to view even those who oppose this call not as new opponents to be argued with, but as another part of our human body that has to be awakened to realize our wholeness. Let us remember the words of our own bard, that causes are ashes where children lie slain. Let us reshape our values and our vocabulary. The phrase supreme sacrifice can no longer apply to those who lay down their lives in war or police service. Rather, in the words of a great teacher 2,000 years ago, it must now include those who give a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in my name. When we think in that way, A ceasefire will no longer be the impossible dream. It will be the bottom line of human life.